This Florida woman, Abrielle Johnson, just lost her life over Christmas gifts. Now, the entire situation started when Abrielle Johnson and her family took a routine trip to purchase Christmas gifts for the family.
On Christmas Eve, as I said, December 24th, Abrielle Baldwin, her 10-month-old son, her 6-year-old son, her 14-year-old brother DeMarcus, her 15-year-old brother Darkus, and their mother, Joyce Birch, who's a black female with a date of birth of June 25th, 1984, went Christmas shopping at a store here in Largo.
When they arrived at the store and began their Christmas shopping, her two brothers, DeMarcus and Darkus, began a real heated argument over the dumbest thing ever.
While they're shopping, 15-year-old Darkus was jealous that their mother, Joyce, was getting 14-year-old DeMarcus more gifts than he was receiving. So they had this family spat about who was getting what and what money was being spent on who, and they're having this big thing going on in the store, and they're all arguing with each other.
The argument about who got more Christmas gifts is what I would expect from a 6 and 7-year-old, not a 14 and 15-year-old hoodlum who was really out here thugging and got a full mustache, bro. Like, aren't you too thuggish in the street to be worrying about who got more Christmas gifts? Now, eventually, they got done their shopping and they all packed up in a small minivan and drove over to their grandmama crib.
They left the store and headed to their grandmother's house. They were going to their grandmother's house because she was going to watch Bree's 6-year-old and 11-month-old baby when she went to work. So they got there to this house on 22nd Avenue Southwest at about 1:45 p.m. on Sunday. Darkus, who's the 15-year-old, entered the home and went into the kitchen with his grandmother. DeMarcus, the 14-year-old, stood in the doorway because, again, they're all arguing and they're having this big spat about what happened while shopping and who's getting what and who didn't get what for Christmas.
At this point, I'm thinking that the discrepancy had to have been out of this world, right? Probably somebody was getting a toothbrush and the other person was getting a PS5. That's the only way or reason I could think that these two dudes will still be arguing about who got more Christmas gifts. Did the mama give one a toothbrush and the other a PS5, bruh? If that's the case, I can understand. But in actuality, based on my assessment of their financial status, one brother probably got 3 pair of boxes and $25 in food stamps, and the other brother probably got 3 pair of socks and $40 in food stamps. But the argument began to escalate and escalate and escalate, and eventually the youngest brother, who was standing in the doorway while his grandmama and older brother is in the kitchen, he pulls out a gun, and that's where things take a turn.
He stood in the doorway, and he took out his .40 caliber semi-automatic handgun, and he pointed it at Darkus and told him he was going to shoot him in the head. So you got the 14-year-old who's mad at the 15-year-old because mom's not buying equal amounts of gifts. They get to grandma's house, and he takes out his gun and tells him he's going to shoot him in the head. So DeMarcus tries to get Darkus to fight. Darkus said he didn't want to fight.
This is where I fault the big brother. If little bro want a fade, give him a fade, man. But these two obviously got two different dynamics than me and my brothers. See, I don't have a little brother, right? But my big brother knows that I would never shoot him. So even if I have a gun in hand, he's still going to give me the fade. But the fade wasn't ran.
And told him to get out of the house, and he didn't want anything to do with him. One of the boys' uncles was present in the home, and he separated them by moving DeMarcus out of the house and moving him out into the driveway area. This is the house here to my right, again to your left, and that's the doorway he was standing into, and that's the driveway area that he moved him out to where this happened.
So this Coco felon, this young hooligan, is outside with a pistol in hand outside of his grandmama house, pacing back and forth, mad as a bull. Yo, I don't know who's raising these kids, bro. I don't know who's raising these kids, bro. But no 14-year-old in my family has access to a gun. No 14-year-old in my family will think to pull a gun on his brother and his family. But he's outside steaming back and forth, and his sister walks outside to try to calm him down.
And so DeMarcus left the doorway. Darkus is still in the house in the kitchen. DeMarcus was standing by a parked vehicle in the driveway when Abrielle told DeMarcus, quote, "You all need to leave that stuff alone. Why are you trying to start it? It's Christmas."
Abrielle came out and gave him really good advice. Bro, it's Christmas. We are supposed to be festive as a family. We're supposed to be getting around and enjoying each other's company. Let it go. Whatever disagreement over Christmas presents y'all are having, bro, is not that serious, man. Let it go. But you know what DeMarcus did when his sister tried to talk him off the edge by mentioning the Christmas festivities and how they are family? You know what this hooligan did? Well, check it out.
And at that point, Abrielle was in the driveway and she was carrying her 10-month-old baby in a carrier in her hand. DeMarcus then began arguing with Abrielle and used some very, very derogatory language that I won't repeat at all, and all kinds of profanity. He was calling her a whore and all kinds of other stuff, and stated that he was going to shoot her and that he was going to, quote, shoot the baby too. DeMarcus then moved toward Abrielle and shot her in the chest with a .40 caliber semi-automatic handgun, again, while she's carrying the baby. Abrielle fell to the ground, so did the baby. The baby wasn't hurt because the baby was in a carrier.
This 14-year-old hooligan pulls out a gun and shoots his sister for trying to make peace, for bringing up Christmas. And he did this while she's in possession of her kids, his nephews. Bruh, there's no fixing this. This kid is pure evil. There's no type of rehabilitation that can fix an evil heart like this, bro. This kid deserves life, deserves the death penalty from my perspective. Ain't no fixing this. Now, his older brother heard what was going on, and he came out to stand on business and make him pay for it.
So when DeMarcus falls to the ground, Darcus comes out of the house. And again, Darcus is 15, and he takes out his .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun because, again, and I'll say this sarcastically, just normal that all these kids, that's what you do, right? You just carry handguns. When you get in a spat with your sibling, you take out your guns and you have a gun battle. So he takes out his gun and tells DeMarcus, so Darcus tells DeMarcus, quote, "You shot my MF sister," and then Darcus shot DeMarcus one time in the stomach.
Most of us would have done what Darcus did. Most of us would have pulled out our pistol and shot that hooligan and that demon who shot our sister. Darcus is a hero, but here's the thing though, Darcus messed up because Darcus shot him while he wasn't armed. Because the uncle apparently disarmed him, Darcus came out and shot him while he wasn't armed. So now Darcus is in trouble.
So DeMarcus falls to the ground, and when Darcus shot DeMarcus, DeMarcus was unarmed. And there's about an 8-second gap between the time that DeMarcus shot Bree and then Darcus comes out and shoots DeMarcus. And when he shot him, he no longer had possession of the gun.
Who told the police that DeMarcus was unarmed when his brother Darcus came out and shot him? Because why would you do that? Why would you tell the police that when it would be very easy to say, hey, bruh, that man had his gun near him. Darcus came out and self-defended himself and his family. It's like it's like as if they did this to put Darcus in jail as well, when Darcus was the only one there standing on business and trying to protect them.
Darcus, the 15-year-old, then ran, threw his gun in a nearby yard, fled to a relative's house up in Clearwater, where we subsequently arrested him. Unfortunately, Abrielle Baldwin was transported to Largo Medical Center Hospital here in Largo with a single gunshot wound to her chest, and she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Basically, the round went in through her left arm into her chest area, went across, went into both lungs, all kinds of internal bleeding. She bled out and it popped both lungs. She couldn't breathe. DeMarcus was transported to a hospital where he underwent surgery. He's in custody, remains in the hospital, is in stable condition, and upon release, he'll be transferred to the custody of the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice.
The saddest part about this situation is that 14-year-old Menace is probably only going to do juvenile life for taking his sister's life. He's going to come out at 25 years old and be put right back into society, and he's going to live a real unproductive life and probably die in the streets or go back to jail for life, bro. Like he's going to face no consequences whatsoever for taking a life of his sister. The system is broken, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, all right? And if you're still watching, click on this video here to find out how Dr. Umar Johnson made Joe Budden's co-host regret coming to work today. Click on this video here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks.